everyone. I am excited for today to be here, but probably you guys won't be excited because today's G's last day on air. I get a couple more days with her. She leaves Friday, so I hope you're all jealous because I know you are. But we're going to find some blue crab legs, which I didn't even know existed till I met G. So we're going to be doing that Thursday night. So make sure you give her a lot of love today because we would love for her to come back. She came alone, so we're excited about that. So in the future, she has no excuses. Although we would love to have Sherry and Shal next time. We miss you both. Today is the last day, so I just wanted to come up here and kick off the day. I wanted to also say thank you so very much to Emmeline Bags. That's the name of the actual company. We have dealt with Janelle. I know G's built a relationship with Janelle. We wanted to say thank you to her because without her,
none of this would
happen. And we were talking about it again. We want to put another plug out there because I know G is on that group. It's NCW
Addicts on Facebook group.
And so when we leave and the lights go down here, we don't want you to lose that excitement. So please go join that group because they keep you inspired. You see the pictures, you see the things that they make. And so we don't want, as excited as UCG is, because she's been excited for a long time. I know Linda Olson's made a ton of these. They are addicts. And so to get that inspiration going until the next time we see G, definitely go join that group. And in the quilting industry, we're a community. We like to share and help. And I know we sold out of these fairly quickly. We did get them back in stock. So they were out a couple days ago. I think yesterday or the day before they got back in stock. So make sure, so those of you that are asking for the directions, this is what it looks like. So, I mean, you're going to know by reading it, but it's the Necessary Clutch Wallet. We keep calling it the NCW, but it is the Necessary Clutch Wallet pattern. So it is back in stock.
And the whole industry calls it NCW.
Yeah, so I guess everybody knows it. But just make sure that you pick up your directions as well. And there's a lot of different ways to make it out there. I know G's done a little bit different, but all the templates that you will need for this pattern, this exact pattern, is in the template kit. I know G added just, I think, a couple for placements that made it
easier for me, faster,
yeah,
you know.
But we did take like little pieces out of hers to make them placement parts. But everything that you are going to need with maybe a couple extra templates are going to be in there. So make sure you go buy this, and definitely their website too. I'm not sure if they have one, but
EmmelineBags.com.
And it will be on your directions when you get it, on your instructions. But definitely, we want to say thank you to her very, very much. And as quilters, you know, we all come up with something great and we want to share it, but we always want to make sure that we're acknowledging the people that start something, that, you know, start a revolution.
This is the most popular pattern in our sewing world, you guys. She developed it in 2013, and look, we're here 2021, and I'm so excited about it, and so I hope to rejuvenate.
And that's, I think, as quilters or bag makers or whatever you want to call it, things get passed down to generation, because you didn't start sewing till, unbelievably, what year?
2011.
So,
but I'm just now hearing about this, and I'm on the Facebook group, and with 18,000 members on that group, you're going to see things on there that inspire you, and so please go join that group. And I'm so excited if we can, when we get to this, look at these, you guys. These are all the flap of your pattern. This, oh my gosh.
I'm just going to fan through it really quick because Jessica does have these up there, and I do think Lisa or Linda is going to put a tag in it. But anybody who follows David's on his sales, fabric sales on Thursdays, he does a lot of these, and so he was kind enough to give me some of them for you guys. These are just going to be fun flaps, right? It's not going to be, but you could use any fabric colors you want. Some of them are very blingy. We've got some of those.
I mean there's animal prints.
But there's just one of each. So the thing is, I can't do a kit and take a picture of all these. So what we've done is I've made a mystery bundle. There'll be 5 sheets in a mystery bundle. It is $25. Jessica's got it under new products. And there's some that are just, I want to say, like bright Christmas. I mean, some of these would just be gorgeous. Do you know where that Christmas one? Oh, here it is.
Well, look at this red for Christmas.
And that green. So there's some really fun ones for the holidays. I mean, there's some leopard skin. I mean, there's just, I mean, G and I were going through them last night.
The holographic ones in here, I mean, they're...
And where's your bag?
I'm so excited. Oh,
because
right
I
here?
had sent G some probably about during retreat time, and I said, hey, G, is there anything we can do with these? And she's like, because we were going to use
This is my personal one, of course, teal. You guys know how I am.
We were going to use it in the wall hanging to decorate it, but then you couldn't see.
But I couldn't see through it, so I said I'm going to figure out something else. And so this NCW was perfect for featuring. And I kind of.
Like, do you have any more of
Let me
those?
show you real quick what I've already stolen. Where is my wallet that I have a wallet in progress.
This one?
Oh, right here. I have a wallet in progress. Look at that. Ooh, this is going to be my newest wallet. Isn't that awesome? So, yeah. And then she brings up these, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to show these to everybody.
I just didn't know how.
And some are very textured. Look at this. I mean, they've got texture on them. The backings are different on all of them. So when you get your bundle, they might not all be the same kind of backings, but every one of these could be used for your flap.
And David just gave it to us yesterday, so I don't even know how many kits this is going to make. So hopefully they don't oversell. Some of them are a little bit thinner. G wants me to give them to you like this one, but it's like kind of thinner. You definitely need to.
She said, well, what about this one? I said, listen, we can use all of these, and if we don't feel like they're structured enough, we can put some 101 on there and still use them. Some of them are thicker than others, but I mean, look how fabulous these are. So I think if you think they need to be interfaced, just throw some 101 on there, and I know. Oh my gosh, they're just so exciting. I mean, check these out.
Of course, she likes all the bling ones. There are some that are bling, like this is just a very nice black vinyl.
Yeah.
Then you have some that's kind of a leopard.
Leopard.
So I don't want to mislead. They're not all bling. She just keeps going to the bling, but some of them are gold, and I mean, there's just some really pretty ones.
These almost look a little grungy.
And we did the really pretty vinyl, the really sparkly vinyl.
Yes.
So she's going to try that as well, and we'll let you know how that works.
Yes. I have a bunch of NCWs up here in my head to do. So when I get back home,
I just wanted to come up and say thank you to G and let you guys know, please show her a lot of love today because we really want her to come back. And we love her dearly. I wanted to kick off the last day because I don't know if I'll be back up. For all you that don't know, Houston is next week. She's like, well, you got too much going with Houston coming down. I was like, girl, what's another thing? Houston's coming. It always comes. We'll get through it. So I'm downstairs feverishly getting ready for Houston. The crew downstairs. That's why you haven't seen the girls too much or heard from them. They're really working hard. She's still on it. She loves this stuff.
I mean,
she's like, can I take it all home?
I
I was like, David would kill me.
You guys had to, I had to restrain myself so much to not just steal all these, and so you guys could be able to get some. But I mean, there are some that's not blingy, but I mean, seriously, what is better than a holographic polka dot?
I did steal one because we were going through it, and there was one.
There was one that looked like a Mickey head,
and it was holographic.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really cool. She goes, "Do you want me to make
I'll
one?"
make you one.
I owe
that.
Mom for one shoot. But have fun today. I know she's got a lot of information she's going to be giving you guys. I'm sorry to the West Coast people that you had to get up so early. Thank you. Hopefully you're in your pajamas and enjoying your day early.
And we're gonna be finishing up real soon what we started. Remember that you could always go back and play back what we did for the previous...
From months to come. If you need it a couple times, I mean, you didn't get it right off the bat. You probably have to watch it 3 or 4 times till you memorize it.
Yeah.
Like you did. But
the more you make, the faster and easier it gets, and it becomes so clear to you. So.
All right. So.
And then every time you look at fabric. Then you think, oh my gosh, that would make a beautiful flap. Or
real quick, let me just do these two. None of these are blingy, but we also have this set. It's under the new product. So if you can look at the colors we have there on these, this I believe is $14. These are the same things. Kind of Eastery. This one's kind of pretty. Look at that one. If you like pink, not to mention
this
names.
is like clamshell right here. Clamshells are very popular, and so those are like clamshells.
So you can get this pack. Now, these are just for the flaps. I mean, just so you have that really nice textural flap. So without further ado, I'm going to let G take over. I do want to say thank you, as always, from the Martelli family. We appreciate you guys joining us. And please like, comment, tag a friend in this, even when it's over, so that they can watch it. Let's help build this Miss Emmeline pattern, and I know it's already built and she doesn't need our help, but I as a thank you to her, I'd really like to see this. Us Bartellis show her a lot of support, so please, please, please don't forget to pick up your pattern. Also, join that group as well.
Yes, that group is very inspiring. Some things that you wouldn't think you like to fussy cut to put on your flap, you're like, oh, I could do that with my, whatever fabric. So I'm pretty sure that everybody making these wallets are going to have a Christmas one, all the holidays. So, and that's my goal too. I almost can't wait to get home so I can start sewing with all these different, those shiny things. I don't know what are they called? I just see shiny things. But so anyway, once again, here's a picture of the pattern that you're going to get. And I guess we will I didn't even fire up my machine yet, but I guess we were going to go to the sewing machine and get started where we left off yesterday. Is that good, you guys? We're going to go, okay, we're going to go over to here, and I'm going to fire up my machine and let it talk to me for a second. I love the sound of this. Oh, probably help if I push the power cord. The power cord. Okay, yeah, the power button on the machine doesn't work unless the power to the machine is going. There we go. There we go. Isn't that a lovely sound? I miss it so bad when I'm traveling because I feel like I don't get to sew enough. I guess I'll take my glasses off so I can see this. Okay, so yesterday we finished up our zipper pocket, and we're going to act like it never stops. So I'm going to determine where this, which side I want this zipper opening from. So I'm going to flip this over because I like it to start on the left and open to the right. And so that matters because right now I'm going to mark my zipper pocket for when I place it into the wallet to be sewn in. So I will take my tracing template and lay it right on the edge here and use my triangle chalk to make a mark here and here, or you can make your line the whole way across, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to turn this. I don't know if you can even see that. I should probably do that with a different, we can see it good. And okay, so I've made a line clear across here using my template, and now I'm going to put my 1x6 little template on here, and I'm going to look here and here to make sure that it's approximately the same width from side to side. And I'm going to get, well, I'll go ahead and use my chalk again. I'll be able to see it good to sew it, so then you'll see. But I'm going to trace around this 1x6 right here. And this eventually I'm going to sew on these lines. But right now, just because I have this piece out, I'm going to go ahead and trace this right like that. I probably should have used my darker pen. I don't know where it's at right this second, so I will just leave it be.
Shall wants you to know that she is watching.
Shall is? Oh,
Shall
good.
is watching.
Oh, good. How many viewers do we have this early morning?
We are at 33.
Okay. So not as many as yesterday, but I think my West Coasters are having a hard time getting up early. But it's always available for replay, so that's awesome. So we are done because, oh, you can see that good. We've marked our pocket, and now we're going to put that away, and we're going to work on our flap. So we've got our exterior flap, our interior flap. First thing I'm going to do is my tag, my flap tab, my flap tab that I'm calling it. We are going to, remember we made those marks to see what the center is? We're going to center this right here with that mark, and we're going to just base this on here, and it's going to get sewn. But I'm just going to take a few stitches across here and just make sure it stays in place. Sometimes I really put these on here crooked, so I try to pay attention to that. All right, so now that that's basted on there, you see how it looks. And I'm going to take my exterior flap and just go right sides together and clip it up. Just align this right so I can 1/4 inch sew this, and I will do it with a tighter stitch length. We'll go to 2.4. I often will sew at a 1.9 as well, and I'll just go on 2 point. How about that? Call it call it in the middle. So we're going to just start off right here on the edge. We are not going to be sewing across our flat edge, just the curved part. Now, when you are sewing curves, you want to go slower around those curves, and really just like take a stitch or two, and then I've got to program my machine right now to raise up every time I stop. So 1 stitch and it'll raise up, and then I can turn slightly. I just always want to keep the edge of my foot on the edge of my fabric so that it stays a 1/4 inch. So I will take a few stitches slowly around my curve, 1 or 2 stitches, and then just curve it slightly and then keep it going. We have any questions?
Everybody's doing really good. A lot of people here, a lot of good mornings. A lot of people on the West Coast are actually here.
Oh, I feel so honored.
I know. A lot of them said they set their alarms
Oh,
to be with us today.
awesome.
We are at 34. Let's see, a couple of questions. Let me see if I have. Somebody was asking about, let me see if I can find it. What was the ruler that you had used yesterday? I'm wondering if it's that ruler that you had used that actually had the little permagrip on it. I'm wondering, and I don't think those are on the website yet.
They're not on there yet.
They're not
but
on the website.
I just wanted to show that because it's coming,
Yeah,
and I thought it was cool. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to, promote any kind of confusion about that, but just know to be on the lookout.
I think that's the
for
one
it.
she was referring to. It is not on the website yet. We still have some more work to do on it. We're still in the testing phase of it, but it's coming shortly. Let's see. Verna wanted to know, can you order all the stabilizer from Martelli's? I do not know the question.
No, they were only available in the kits. That's why I use the stabilizers interfacing that I do, because they are available mostly at your big box stores.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. So you're
Yeah.
looking at the SF101, the SF809 are very easy to pick up. What's the Devacil?
Decaville, yeah.
Yeah, Decaville.
That's available usually Joann's online, but some of your stores will have it in the store, but mostly if it's not in your store, it's in the online version of the store.
Yeah.
I do want to point out right here, when I am sewing across here, I want to make sure I do back tack good across the tab. So I'm just going to go across it a little bit and then go back on it and then go back forward again. So this is pretty much the only time I sew really slow is going around these curves. But this foot has such a low profile, a skinny, it's very good for doing this. Again, I'm using my HP 2 foot end plate. I'm gonna back tack right there. I'm gonna take this out and it's going to look like this. And I'm going to take these wonderful scissors that Lisa got for me and trim. I'm just going to trim a little bit of this bulk off. Please don't get too close to your stitches.
I do have a question.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever double sew the flap seam, especially with the leather / corks?
Do I double sew it?
Yes.
No.
Like give it a double row
No.
of stitching.
I haven't felt the need to do that yet. And we will be talking about different stuff to use. Well, we already talked about all those shiny sheets and stuff. Get creative and go in your remnant bins and go in your own sweatshops and pull stuff that you think that would work in your NCW. Try things out. That's how I learned what kind of interfacing I wanted with what. I'm going to turn this right sides out here. Yeah, so just try different stuff, and if you think something should be stabilized more, throw some more layers on it, or try a different type of stabilizer, interfacing. Trial and error, and on the NCW Addicts Facebook group, people are always on there showing what they have discovered and what they think is good, and a lot of times that's how you're going to find out about different products and stuff is just by seeing what everyone else is doing.
Can these wallets be machine washed?
Wow, I don't think I would ever. I would just make me a new one. I wouldn't wash them, but
I would probably just maybe hand wash them with a damp cloth or something like that, but I do not think I would stick these in the washer, no.
I wouldn't, but like I said, I'd just make me a new one. If it got to the point where it looked like it needed washed, I think it'd be time to have a new one. Okay, now I'm going to top stitch this, so I'm going to go back to a 4.0 stitch length. And I'm going to just go 1/8 of an inch and top stitch all around. So we're again going to go slow. Now when you're using that longer stitch length, it doesn't take as long to get around that corner. So just take it slow so you can make it look nice.
Miss Darlene said that she doesn't believe the 809 is a washable item. I don't think that Decoville is either, so yeah.
And that I really don't, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know.
Yep, I don't know.
I just would say I am not going to wash it. I'm going to make me a new one. And I'm sure after you start doing this, you'll feel that same way.
Yeah, especially when you can make one in a couple of hours. I mean, it don't take that long once you get the hang of it, especially with these templates, how quickly you can get these made.
Right. Okay. I'm going to backstitch, but only a couple stitches because I don't want it to be seen. I'm going to cut this off.
What a pretty flap.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is
So
so
that's
pretty.
the exterior and this is the interior. So we want to add our D-ring to this after we put our Decoville. So I've got my D-ring sitting here ready so I don't forget it. Here is the Decoville that we cut smaller to go inside this flap. So now we can totally fit this inside the flap. I'm going to push it and maneuver it so that it's all the way in there. I really like this as opposed to the Peltex. I was using Peltex at first. Linda has educated me on the Craftex, Timtex, sorry. and I had never heard or seen that before, so she brought a piece so I could know what it is. I think I would like that much better than the Peltex because I felt the texture of it and it feels better to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Fusible buckram.
Okay. There's fusible buckram that is really, it has a nice feel to it. And so as you're making these wallets, you will come across people who have used a lot of different, that's why that group is so good, because they will discuss things that you've never heard of, and you can discover new things that you want to try inside your
Did you
wallets.
just say buckram?
Yeah.
To use it into like the
Somebody asked about it yesterday.
Linda said,
see, and that makes sense because I've used so much buckram in making hats. I mean, it's one of my favorite products to use in the hats is the buckram. So I bet it would work very well.
I have never heard of that, so I'm
you
so
You
glad.
can get that at Joann's, lots of
Oh,
it, by the
okay.
roll on the bolt.
I've never seen it when I'm looking through the interfacings at Joann's. So there again, I love how we all can educate each other on different things. We're all better with each other. I'm going to show you right now how to add my D-ring. You can determine which side you would like this on. This is what your crossbody strap will end up hooking to. When I'm looking at my interior flap like this, I use my D-ring to the right. So, and I've got it about 1/4 inch away from my stitching. And I'm just gonna take a few stitches and put this right in place here. And often I will, I'll go back and forth across it. And often I'm just going to go ahead and finish stitching this across my whole thing just to hold everything together and make sure it's one piece now. So this is our flap that is totally finished now. We have our D-ring in place. And if you have any little threads, get rid of those. I didn't fold mine real good. I'm going to go ahead and go over this a little bit better because I didn't have it folded good in there. Let's see. All right, so there you have it. That's that part. And now, this is what's really fun because remember when we did the outside oval and or the exterior oval, and we put our hardware on there and said it was totally done until later? Well, it is, so it's ready for our flap to be sewn onto it. So check this out, you guys. We're gonna lay our oval here. This is our exterior oval. I always work with this hardware towards me. Now, how you know where this goes is you want to see both pieces of hardware like this. Remember, we did make the slits, so we know where the center of this exterior oval is, and we know where the center of our flap is. So we're just gonna line it up like that. Also, if you think that things went wonky on you, here's another tip for you. You can literally hook your flap to it, make sure that your hardware is married, you know, the male and female are in there right, that you didn't put a wrong piece on something. And there, it snaps nice. And then you could fold this up and do your matching that way and pin it, or not pin it, clip it. You guys, using pins in this project, I don't suggest because it'll slow you down and you'll have a hard time going through all these layers most likely. So we're going to look at this and say, oh, this looks like it's even right here. It looks like it's not wonky. If it was looking like that, then you would want to straighten that up. So I've got it looking nice. So I'm going to go ahead and just baste my flap onto my exterior oval. Just at 1/8 of an inch. My machine happens to still be on 4.0, so that's what I'm basting it on here with. And you could have undone that to sew it, however it's easier for you. So this is what that looks like, and it's totally done. So as long as you have both pieces of your hardware, here and here, that you're looking at both pieces and not just one piece, then you've got it on there correctly. So now we're going to take our interior oval. Remember that weirdo piece that we had this hole in? Well, that's what this whole thing is going to be flipped out through. So we're going to go ahead and match these up. And I didn't make a slit in the middle of this one. So I'm going to do that now, sitting here at my machine. Going to make this in half here and give myself a little snippy snip. And right here too. And that just helps you to line things up. Of course, if you want to just look at your ovals and see, you know, without doing the little placement snips, you can do that too. I'm just going to go, and you can match up your end slits if you made those as well. And flip this around here. Just clip it all the way around. Adjust as you need to. I don't put a whole lot of clips. I really find when I'm sewing that I want to take the clip out way before I get to it so that my fabric is laying flat and not wonky. You can just pick a place to start sewing. I don't like to start where the flap is with that thickness. I like to come up to that. So I'm just going to turn this and start sewing it right about through here. No rhyme or reason here. We'll give you 4 fingers to come from the flap area, and we're going to start right there. I'm going to sew it with a 2.0 stitch length, and we're doing 1/4 inch. I'm going to back stitch it a couple times, and now if your ovals have gotten a little wonky and one's for whatever reason is not the same size, just pick an oval and stick with that one to sew your 1/4 inch all the way around. Everybody following along good? I think most people are
everybody's
just
doing
watching.
great. Lots of hearts. She said the fusible buckram is Pellin 376.
Oh, that's helpful for others.
Linda also
Thank
says
you.
you can wash on gentle cycle. I have done it and have had many people tell me they just don't put it in dryer.
Oh.
Instructions on the Decoville says machine wash warm.
Oh.
Darlene did check the Decoville and says it is washable. She checked it on the bolt.
Are we saying, is that Darlene Clackner?
Yes, it is.
That's my good friend Dar, the bag maker extraordinaire. So whatever she says, listen to, because she has much experience with bags.
All right, so Eva wrote, look forward to overstitching that flap. Deco thread in chain looper will show on one side and deco thread in needle will show on other side. Be very cool. Okay.
Okay. Also, when we started this project, I said that I like to match my top thread with my bobbin thread. You guys all know, if you know me, know I love the bottom line bobbin thread. However, in this project, I always match my top and bottom thread because you'll see when we start stitching this oval, you know, the thread shows on the top and the bottom, And so I want to always make sure I'm matching my thread. You'll see here in just a minute. So if you notice, I am just slightly turning this. I'm almost sewing one-handed when I do these. And just, you can slow down around the curves if it helps you. I like to go a little faster around those curves for whatever reason, because y'all know I like to sew fast. We're coming up on this flap here. So remember that your D-ring is in here, so you want to make sure you feel and make sure it didn't flap over or anything, because you've got a nice little hump here. So I like to backstitch where the flap starts. I'll go a little bit and I will backstitch where my D-ring piece is, and then I'll keep going and I will backstitch where the flap ends again. So I'll backstitch right here. Oh, and look, I didn't even go across my tab backstitching. I explained that I would and I didn't do it. We're just gonna keep it moving, y'all, but backstitch over yours. Actually, I'm gonna go back and backstitch it because it'll make me nervous if I don't. And it's not that big of a deal to go back.
Karen just wrote, "You are such a wonderful teacher." That statement is coming from a 30-year veteran teacher.
Wow, who is that?
Karen Hill.
Oh, thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Lets me know what I'm doing is worth doing, right? So I went back over and backstitched my D-ring piece because I didn't do that. So now we're gonna trim off the excess a little bit. There again, don't get crazy and snip any of your stitches. And I literally do not trim the area where my flap is. I know it's hard to see. Maybe on the thicker part it shows better. Anyway, you don't need to. If you feel like you want to, then trim that as well, but I do not. Wow, I'm still overwhelmed at that 30-year veteran teacher that said that. That's nice. Thank you, Karen.
Well, Sheila just said, "I was thinking the same thing. G is an excellent teacher, and I used to be a principal." Phyllis
Oh,
Trump.
yeah, that must be Sheila Hillwig.
Sheila Hillwig, yep.
Yeah. And you guys, I'm gonna be honest, I did not go back and read the comments from yesterday because after my shower, after I got in last night, I literally was talking to my husband and was trying not to fall asleep on him. I was just exhausted, and I actually had 3 hours of straight sleep last night, and then I was able to go back to sleep after I got up. So I did not go and read the comments, but I'm sure when I'm sitting in airports forever on my way home, I will absolutely get to those comments. And if there's something I really need to pay attention to, please email me at twins@martellinotions.com. And I will try to answer those emails as efficiently as possible. I didn't even check my emails last night, so I apologize if any of you were waiting on a response from me. I'm usually better at that, but right now I am just, did you see, I don't know if I even mentioned, did you see how I pulled my flap through that hole first and then I turned it out? I'm sorry, I meant to make sure. Look at this. Let's see. I meant to make sure to say that as I was doing it, and I don't think I did. You know, when I'm teaching, I often don't even know what I'm saying up here. I will go back and watch and say, "Oh, I didn't remember saying that." I kind of get in a zone and I don't know what I'm saying. Hopefully it makes sense. So I've got this pushed out and flattened. I didn't start my iron, but I'm going to do that so I can go give this a good press. Remember, if you're doing vinyl, that I'm going to go press this now, but if you're doing vinyl, you don't want to press it. And if you notice, it really doesn't need, oh, let's see. It really doesn't need to be, I mean, I often will not get up and press this, but I will today. But if you're doing vinyl, you don't want to put heat on your vinyl unless you're using a Teflon sheet and it doesn't have the texture on the vinyl or the faux leather or whatever you want to call it. Because if you do that, it will distort that pattern on your vinyl. So we'll wait for this iron to be ready, and I'll just give this a press. This is what it looks like on the other side. And remember that big old slit we made, it's getting covered up next. So, well, not next. We're gonna top stitch this, but just gonna give this a nice press. Don't y'all love this purple bubble? I don't know what it's called, but it's purple bubble to me.
It is great with that flap. I mean, you did a good job.
You know, you would think it would be too busy, but it works, I think.
I forgot to put it off of mute. It is great. It looks really good with that flap. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
It's just amazing how that little slit just pulls it all through so perfectly.
Yes, and I really wanted to emphasize that when you are flipping it out, start with your flap going through this opening first and then push out everything else. So if you're taking notes, write that down.
We do. We have a lot of people that are on here actually taking notes.
Good.
And Verna just wrote she forgot to put in her tab, so she's got a oops.
Well, you know what, Verna?
Flip-a-toi.
Verna, that flip-a-toi can very easily be remedied.
Yeah.
You know, I will teach you with the rivets how to remedy that. Because guess what? I may or may not have done that a time or two. And just figuring out where I wanted things. So sometimes I was wanting to try something in a different spot after I've already made it. So I may or may not have made every mistake you can make making these. And so I have experience with helping you fix your flip-a-tois.
Again, so many people taking notes, and Bonnie wrote, she's on page 5 with right directions.
Oh, good. Because I don't follow the pattern exactly with the steps because I do it as it makes sense to me to remember my parts and pieces. But thank you for guiding everyone else through the pattern.
Oh, Lord, so
this
many
is
note
what this
takers.
looks like right now. And next we're going to go to our machine and top stitch this. And we're going to not do it at 1/8 of an inch. We're going to do it at 1/4 of an inch, but with a 4-point stitch length. Isn't that pretty? It
That
looks
is
like
just
it
so
would have
pretty.
been too busy, and you know what? If you want a little sneak peek, you can go like this and kind of look at what your wallet's going to look like. How cool, right? So let's go to the machine and get this top stitched. What are you laughing at, Lisa?
Well, Janet, she's getting ready to start page 8.
Well,
now
cool.
they're like, who can take the most notes now? Oh,
Okay.
goodness sakes. Just loving this. We are at 38 people, so we're doing good. We need y'all to start sharing, getting this out there.
And I'm going to step away from the machine for just a second. I did not grab my water. So I'll be right back.
What?
Sorry.
You left me. Oh, goodness sakes. So while we're waiting for her to come back, be sure to like I'm getting all kinds of amazing comments on here. And then be sure to share this because I think a lot of people would love to see this technique on how to do these amazing bags. And of course, we cannot wait to see pictures, lots and lots and lots of pictures of what you have done.
I'm back. So here again, I'm going to start probably right where I started sewing the last time, maybe 3-4 fingers away from the flap. Remember that this is liable to show. It's going to get folded up, but you don't want a rat's nest, so just make sure you're pulling up your thread or holding your threads or whatever your technique is to not have a rat's nest. I'm going to put my needle back down, get my threads out of the way here, and going to raise this to a 4-point stitch length. And we're going to go ahead and top stitch this at a 1/4 inch from the edge. Just keep the edge of your foot, if that's what you're using. If you're using a 1/4 inch foot, just keep that edge right with the foot. I like to grab a hold of this flap to help guide it through. And you know, when you're using vinyls, if you're getting like stuck on your machine, you can put a piece of parchment paper down. That helps with that and helps you guide better. Okay, when you're around this flap area, just keep that foot right on the edge of your fabric still, continuing on. And this part will be seen, so make sure your top stitching is nice because you will be seeing it on the outside of your wallet. Coming up where I started, so I'm going to move these out of my way, and I'm just going to go over those for a couple of stitches and then not have to bury them. So, okay, well, I went too much back, but now we're going to clip our threads off here, and I'll show you what this is supposed to look like at this point. All right, so this is the inside, and this is the outside. And this stitching here, you know, when you're looking at this wallet, you will see this stitching the most. These the circular ends, you will be bending up and you won't see it as much. But so we're going to flip this over and we're going to look at this to where we're looking at our interior oval with that slit right here. We're going to find our card slots that we previously made. And this is where you're going to center this right on your piece, your big oval. So I am looking right here. You want to look at your card slots because if one side seems like it's a little wonky or you like your stitches better on, you know, this side, then by all means put the best stitching that you have nearest the flap area because that's what's going to be shown the most. Okay, so I'm centering this on here, and next I'm going to put my hand firmly right here, and then I'm going to take my flap and really fold this so I know that it's right up against those card slots. Okay, I'm going to use some wide mouth clips to hold these. hold this in place while I go over to the other side and flip it as well. So I'm going to turn this around where I'm right-handed, so I like to flip from the right to the left. So I'm going to hold this firmly, flip this over. I'm feeling right here to make sure that this card slot is indeed all the way folded in. And that should look like this now. So now you're getting a little preview of what your wallet's going to look like again. All right, now, obviously we've got a lot of thickness right here. So we're going to show you up close where I'm going to be starting this. This stitch right here, it's not necessary to start up here. I know a lot of people would rather start up here and just follow this so it looks like your stitching from your flap is just going continuous down through here. But I'm going to tell you that a lot of machines are going to have a problem with this area. So I like to start on sewing this on right here where these stitches start. And I'm going to drop my needle right there. I'm going to pull my needle up so I don't have a rat's nest. I'm going to pull, not my needle, I'm going to pull my thread up from the bottom. So I'm going to push needle down, and it's starting right where those stitches of the exterior flap is. I'm going to pull my thread up or not. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, hold on one second, because I use my scissor buttons. Sometimes you have to reseat your bobbin in order to make sure that thread will come up. Every now and then that happens. So here we go. We're going to go and try this again. We're going to drop our needle down right where our stitches start and needle up. Pull that. Oh, of course we are going to have an issue with pulling that up today. Okay. Hold on, you guys. Take two. Hey, real life sewing, y'all. This is the kind of stuff that happens. So just because a camera's on you don't mean that kind of stuff goes away. But we just deal with it, right? So, I'm not sure why it keeps not grabbing it, but let's see. There we are. Push the needle back down. Get these threads out of your way. I like to have enough thread so I can make sure I bury them. I'm going to take a stitch or two and then back up a couple stitches. That's good. And now I'm going to just continue sewing at 1/4 inch right here along this flap. So I'm going to hold it nice and tight so it doesn't shift on me. And I'm going to just go down to those stitches and meet those stitches and then lock them out and cut them off. It's not necessary to put your machine through a beading trying to get over that thickness when it doesn't make a hill of beans difference if you go over that or not. So right here I've got these threads that I need to bury, so I'll bury these threads so they're not getting in my way and I just can't stand to look at them. Everybody's awful quiet.
No, we've got some great questions. So,
oh, Linda's here now. I mean,
Yep,
she's
I'm
been here,
Hi,
but she's on
everybody.
mic now.
Yeah. So first off, Sister Cow is here.
Oh, yay!
Yep. And then we had Eva say maybe a hump jumper, but I said I don't even think that really matters for sewing through that. So.
Just don't even bother with it, Eva. It really is not necessary. And ask me why I know that, because, you know, after I broke a needle or two, I'm like, why am I even trying to do that?
Yeah.
And if I broke a needle doing it, I'm sure someone else will. So I'm just trying to save you a little heartache.
And we have lots of people that ordered the templates, I think because of this, so they're going to be thrilled when they get them and they start using them.
Nice. Here we are again, trying to pull up our bottom thread. Here we are. I'm going to pull this up, pull it out, needle down, get the threads out of my way, and now I'm going to 1/4 inch sew this. I'm going to just take a couple stitches and this back up a couple, and I'm going to come right through this flap at a 1/4 inch again. I'm holding my my whole piece with my right hand guiding it, and I'm holding my left hand firm so I can make sure it doesn't slide around on me or get wonky. And we're going to come right up to those stitches again and stop it, and then cut her off. And we're going to snip off those little tails there. I'm going to bury this thread. Now, you can not bury these if you don't want to. If you've back stitched. Sherry says that I'm obsessed with burying threads, so maybe I am a little bit. But I just don't want to have, nasty bird's nest or rat's nest or whatever you want to call it. So, okay, here's what we did, you guys, right here, this top stitching. That closed our card slots into here. Now, I want to point out something. If you didn't catch this for whatever reason, and especially if you're sewing on vinyl, you don't want to have to rip stitches on vinyl. It's not cute. It doesn't, the holes don't close up right. So if for some reason that you didn't catch this, close this back up and take a little bit of stitch, go like 1/8 of an inch from your other stitching if that will catch it, and just do another line of stitching. When we do show you a bunch of wallets, I will show you that happened to me on my first one. So it does have a double line of stitching and it looks just fine. So if for some reason you didn't get it, it's okay, don't fret, you can fix it. But do it now. I mean, do it at this point before you start folding everything. And
all right, it's 10:31, so we're going to come back at 10:40. We're going to be leaving this running, so it's the same session. We'll just turn off the audio.
Okay, great. Hey everybody, we're back from our little break, and I just wanted to recap what we've done. We've put our card slots in, we've got them sewn in, and here is the back. So we're looking at it from this way, and now we are ready to place our zipper pocket in here. So remember that we marked this earlier, so you want to make sure that when we're placing this in here that you're seeing your markings. And if you didn't mark it earlier, then make sure that your zipper is going the right way, mark it, and then we're going to place these inside here on top of our card slots. Again, we're just going to eyeball this and make sure that it's going straight across the top. It's about the same length on the top and bottom. Basically, I'm pretty much lining these edges up with that second card slot area. The zipper is just about where the second card slot is. So we're just centering on here. If you want to look from the side and kind of lift this up and make sure that where you're marking it is, let's see. Like right here are my marks, and right here are my sew lines are my card slot. So I just want to make sure that those are inside of that that boxed area. So this boxed area right here, let me see if I can get this out of the way so you can see. This boxed, let's keep flipping up. Let me, this right here, your box of your zipper pocket is going to be lined up inside of that box on your card slot. So, or the lines of your card slot, okay? So just be mindful of that. And we are going to stick this in the machine, and we're going to stitch down that box that we made. All right? So let me turn my machine on, get this in my machine, raise this up so I can get in better. I'm just going to start on one of the corners. I can barely see my markings. So let me guesstimate. Okay. Now this has a purpose. Now this is adhering your zipper pocket to the card slot to the wallet. So this box will actually show on the outside of the wallet. So let me grab a wallet and show you before, that way you know what you're stitching and why. So this box here is what we're doing right now. So right here. Perfect. So that's this box right here, and that's what holds all of the parts and pieces together. So I'm gonna needle down right here and needle up. This is quite a bit of thickness too, so just take it slow and you'll get through it. I know that if you use a walking foot, it will help with all this bulkiness and the layers and stuff. If you're using vinyl, faux leather, all of that kind of stuff, the Teflon needle, or super non-stick, I think Schmetz calls it, is a very good choice for that. So now we're going to just follow along our markings, and we're just doing that exterior box that we drew on here. I'm trying to see my markings, so take my advice and mark it with something you can see, like do as I say, not as I do type of thing. And we're just gonna go along this next edge here. I'm addicted to that little triangle Taylor Seville chalk, and so I try to use it on everything, but it's not good for a light color like this. So, you know, you learn all these lessons when you're doing this stuff, and I probably should have learned that lesson already, but sometimes I'm hard-headed. So we're gonna just stop our stitches right here where we started them. And we're going to cut this off, bring it out of our machine. I don't know if a lot of you have the Janelle machines that you can literally reach back here and cause it to be raised up a little higher. If it has an extra little, if you push, it can raise your foot a little higher to get things in and out better. I'm sure a lot of the higher end machines do that, but just wanted to point that out. I'm going to bury my threads here. And then we are going to get our next tracing template out, the little pie-shaped looking one. And that will help you mark where the sides need to be folded in. I said it before that if you think you can just eyeball it and then rivet it, Well, if you can and do it successfully, that's great, but I know that my wallets turn out better if I use this template to mark, because if not, they're going to be uneven, and then you're liable not to be able to fit things where you thought you should fit them in. So I'm going to line this flat edge up with my box that I just sewed. I just sewed in there. And I'm going to put this round part against my rounded edge here. And then I'm going to just, on this tracing template, just pull this down here. Just mark it on each side of here. No need to mark anything else. And this is what that should look like. There we go. We can see our markings. And this is literally what we're going to be bending this up to know where to squeeze these. But we're going to mark both sides first, so that part's done. And then we are going to get this finished. After you fold this part, you get to preview your wallet and really know what it's going to look like, and you'll have it prepared for your rivets. So we're going to pull this part of our zipper pocket, and we're going to kind of close this onto that line we made in there. When you get it matched up, you just pinch it, and then you're going to get a wide mouth clip and clip it, and it looks like that right now. So now we're going to take our divider part right here. We're going to look at it and line it up with that line we just made. When we get it straight on there, we're going to pinch it and put our next wide mouth clip on there. And it should look like this on the side. And then now we're going to do the other side. So we're going to take this zipper, line it up with this line, pinch it, put a clip, and right here we're going to pinch this. We're going to get this lined up and pinch it and put a clip. So now it should look like this on all sides. And guess what? We can push this over and do our snap, and we get to see what our wallet looks like. How cool is that, you guys? Nice. So here's the sides with my clips in it on both sides. And at this moment, I'm going to put my D-ring that I have left over, because you should have one D-ring piece left over, this one. I'm going to just slip it in this zipper pocket until I go to do my rivets. Sometimes I'm doing lots of wallets and I don't do the rivets immediately on them. So I always put that in the pocket until I get to my rivets. That way it doesn't get thrown away or knocked on the floor or whatever. So I just want to always make sure I find it. Here is the stitching that we did on the bottom, and I need to cut my threads where I left that scissor button thread on there. And next we will get the rivet press set up, and maybe we take a little break so we can get that rivet press set up, maybe 5 minutes. Keep the audio running and not the audio, keep the video running, just shut off the audio for a few minutes while we get that rivet press set up. Hey there everybody, we're back. I've got the rivet press set up. This is the cam press from campress.com. If you happen to want one of these, you can use the code TWINS10 on the CamSnaps website and get a 10% off of your purchase, your full purchase. So it's only good for per customer one time. So if you end up wanting to buy some of that stuff, make sure you order everything at once. That way you can get the discount on all your purchases. So I'm going to go ahead and rivet this wallet the way I always do, and then we will talk about different options. And I need my snap pliers, which are right here. Now, you can use a die that will poke your holes for you. It's a hole punch die. And I do have that, but I have found that I like this handheld better because it's easier to maneuver on these flaps. You know, if you don't happen to have the press, you can still do this whole process. The press just makes it easier. I have arthritis, and so I like to relieve my hands as much as I can. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to just set this aside just for a second until I make my holes. I have also marked my tool with, you know me, I have to be extra. I marked it with some flashy foil so I will know which one of these is for my NCWs. So you'll see, because at a glance you won't know which one to use. And in order to close this plier, you have to not have one of your hole punches in the way, so you have to go between it in order to shut it, because it won't close shut. So I am going to look at my wallet, and you can either mark it with you know, mark a dot on there to know where to measure it. But I look at my flap, and I pretty much go in 1/2 inch or an inch, in between 1.5 inches and a 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and down. So I kind of look at this like it's a little square right here, and I will put my hole right here. Now, if you squeeze good, and this one doesn't hurt my hand a whole lot. I will squeeze and make sure I get through all of the layers, but before I squeeze it, I'm usually going to have my rivets ready so I can put it in the hole and hold my place until I'm actually going to do smashing of my rivets. So I'm just going to empty those bags out and get my rivet ready. And I'm going to punch my hole. You heard it click. And then I'm going to take my rivet and punch the post right through. And if I don't see the hole on the other side, I can open this and make sure I'm getting pushed through there. So evidently I didn't push hard enough. I was at a bad angle. Let me try this again. I'm just going to go back and poke this a little better. I didn't squeeze hard enough. Which is why I like to hold everything in place. And there, now I did it good. Now I can actually see through that whole hole. So I'm going to take a post and stick it down through there. And then I'll take the button part of this rivet and just hold it. I'll put it in here and it holds it in place. So here's the look of that, front and back. It looks the same on the front and back, and now it'll hold in place until I go and smash them I should say press. It's a rivet press, but I say smash. So now I'm going to take this next flap and do the same thing. I just eyeball it, and if you, like I said, if you want to measure it, that's fine. But the flaps are in the right place because we used our template to fold up. So where you place the rivet, it just needs to make sure it's going through all of the layers. Right? So I'm going to hold this in place, and that's one side completed. Now, remember our D-ring tab that we still wanted to do? And the reason why I do it on this flap is because I want it to be the opposite of my D-ring from the top, right? So when my wallet is on me and open, it doesn't flap open. My crossbody, if you're doing a crossbody strap, it will hold your wallet open instead of letting everything fall to the ground. So I'm going to take this wide mouth clip off, get my plier in there, get my hole, and then I'm going to stick my wide mouth clip back on there so I can get a hole punched into my D-ring tab. So I'm going to hold this back like that, get my D-ring tab, and I'm also going to make a hole in that. So I didn't have to try to go through all those layers with one punch. So I'm just going to take this and make a punch here, like that. And I like to keep a pokey thing near, and because sometimes the fabric doesn't fall out of the hole. So, but you still can see where I punched that hole. Look at your tab and see if the stitching looks better on one side or the other. So if it doesn't look good, whatever side looks better, that's the side you want poking out here and be seen. This is raveling a little bit, so I'll cut it. So now I'm going to take this wide mouth clip off. I'm going to feed my post through there, and then I'm going to feed it through my D-ring tab, and then put the post on there. So I'm including the D-ring tab in with that rivet. Beautiful. See there? Nice. And this is the opposite side. So once your rivets get in there, they look the same on both sides. The Chicago screws do not. And we're going to go over that as soon as we finish doing our wallet. So we got one more hole only to do. And this is going through lots of layers, but it handles it just fine. I find this a little easier than sticking it in my press to make the holes with the hole punch with the press. All right, so we've got all of our rivets in place, and now we just have to press them. Now, with the rivet press, you do not need to use both hands. I will pull this to where you can see it better. There we go. And what you want to do is don't be afraid to bend this wallet and get this out of your way to be able to stick it in here. It'll bounce back. So we're going to make sure when we put this in here that it's resting in the cup of our die, you know, in the circular part. I like to go slow and just make sure that that it is centered, right? Before I bear down on it. And literally, I'm not pushing hard at all. I'm just going to barely push it, and you will feel when it clicks and it's pressed. So now it's completely pressed. I'm going to do the next one. Put it in here. I like to kind of push and make sure it's inside the little die. I'm going to just check and make sure I'm on top of it good. Yes. And then I'm going to give it a little push. I don't need to push hard, and you can feel when it clicks into place. Same way with this one. I'm going to arrange my D-ring so it's sticking out from that edge there, and then I'm going to stick this in the press. You'll see that this is so much easier than trying to sew the sides. A lot of people do sew the sides if they don't have a rivet press or don't want to mess with hardware on the sides. However, it is not that easy to sew those sides. I was not successful doing it, and so I wasn't even going to ever try it again. So here are the pressed rivets. And now your wallet is complete. And oh, we have to show how to do the strap.
All right, before we do that, though, we've got lots of questions on
Okay.
the rivets and more details. So is that grommet type thing the screw type? So talk about rivets versus Chicago screws.
Okay.
And then also, what size rivet are you using?
Okay, and then I think we will come back and do the strap whenever you guys say it's appropriate time to come back to do the strap. I will show, there's all kinds of different types of metal you can buy for your rivets. There's gunmetal, there's silver, there's gold, whatever. I never knew what a Chicago screw was, and those take the place of rivets. If you don't have a rivet press or what have you, I will show you in this wallet what it looks like. I did try them. You have to use a screwdriver, so you'll see that one side of this actually looks like the one side actually looks like a screw. So see that the opposite side, it looks like a screw. So and one side looks like a rivet really. So it doesn't have any markings, and one side does have. Oh, that's a nice shot there, so we can see the slit in there. So you actually use just a screwdriver to do that. The problem is you have to know how long of a post to get to that will go through all of this and still be able to screw and not have a lot of play this way in the Chicago screw. So I can share with you these Chicago screws that I bought. I will have a link in my We'll Make Creations Facebook page that will show you those ones that I purchased to be able to try this out. And these work, however, it's so much easier to me to do the rivet press. So that's what a Chicago screw is. We were able, I was going to bring some with me, and I can't find them. These here are what is equivalent to a Chicago screw. I don't think they were called that at the hardware store we found here in Pensacola, but it works along the same lines. There is a place for the screw side, and then the other side, there it's not, but it's also not flat. So, I mean, there's several options. This would be an option if you were in a pinch and needed some. And it has a screw on one side, and you put it in and then take a screwdriver or your fingers. You can finger tighten them first and then use a screwdriver to tighten them down even further. But that is a version of a Chicago screw. And while I have this wallet out, we'll start doing the show and tell on some of these. And so this I wanted to bring because I wanted you to see the Chicago screw option. Okay.
Does that answer everyone's questions about the screws versus the grommets?
And if you do have a bunch of the hardware, I suggest getting you a box and organize them into a box and keep the labels with them. That way you know what is what. That's just a little tip and trick that I needed to have for myself, so I would know what die press goes with what hardware. Let's see. I wanted to show you guys that first wallet I made that I didn't catch my card slots in, and I told you could do another line of stitching. See here, that's another line of stitching that I had to do because I didn't catch those card slots. And I don't think it looks bad to have two lines of stitching, so don't fret about it. Also, I want to advise you on the magnetic snap closures. As you can see, these are square and not circular. And I will tell you that you have to be way more perfect in your placement when you're using a square, because if it's cockeyed, it will be noticeable. And so I either don't suggest using those, or I suggest that you really be careful when you're applying those. So this was my very first NCW that I don't think it turned out too bad. Here's another little gadget that I bought. Now, Emmeline Bags on their website has lots of different hardware that you can buy to enhance your wallet. And so they have better side connectors than this one that I showed here. And they are geared for the bag, so that way they fit better than what I did. I was just doing what I had found locally. So that is this. That is my first NCW right there.
Okay, so take a drink and then I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So we still have questions about the size of rivets. I know for the Chicago screws, when we purchased those from a hardware store, we got the smallest ones they had available. But when it's the rivet and the rivet press, really shouldn't they just call or contact camsnaps.com and say, I want to
Yes.
place the order that G placed?
Yes, and they will get the correct size of the rivets and all that. You also can say that you are into bag making and you're making the NCW. She's very aware of the NCW and what works best with the NCW. So that's Judy at camsnaps.com, and that is her email. And you can just say you would like to order the same things that G did, and she will hook you up.
And they may not need the magnetic.
Right. So
rivet.
I made a big purchase with the magnetic snaps. So you can get these magnetic snaps that don't have the prongs, and you use the cam snap press to press your magnet closures in. So there's lots of options for doing things different ways.
Do you know by chance the size of the rivet that you've used?
Ours are 10 millimeter rivets, I believe. I will make sure that you know what the size are. Now I can't remember. I ordered so long ago now, but I believe they're 10 millimeter rivets.
And my guess is if you look at Emmeline.com, it's EmmelineBags.com. I posted
Yes.
a link. My guess is she probably has all that information there for
Yes,
you as
and
well.
she has some very, very nice hardware. She's got the rainbowy ones, and they use they have the twist lock that are, I have not tried those yet. That's to me, it's a little bit more of an advanced type of lock, that twist, and it's oval, and it's very nice. So check out EmmelineBags.com for other hardware choices.
I'm
Because
on her website right now, and she has a whole section on a learning center. It's hardware installation, and there's tutorials for magnetic snaps, for turn locks and flip locks, for press locks, for large bar locks, etc.
Wow.
And then she has bag label insertion instructions, and then miscellaneous bag bling, adding zippers, sliders, edge connectors, strap anchors, all of that. But there's a section on screw together grommets.
That's what I was trying to think of the word of. She's got some really nice edge connectors that you can attach to the side folds here, and hook your, if you're making a crossbody, hook that to that.
And if you're on that page at the very bottom, not where it has the fine print, but you'll see get more bag hardware tutorials and sewing tutorials here. So I would think her bag tutorials, because she is the expert on this.
Yes.
This is her thing. So my guess is that's going to be a
And
really
she
great
has
resource.
many other bag patterns too.
Oh, yeah.
Most people that sew have heard of her,
Yeah.
because she's got a lot of great patterns out there.
Okay. All right, now we've got lots of questions here too, or comments. Let's see. The magnetic rivets she has are better and easier to use than the magnetic snaps. That's good.
Yes.
Let's see. Love the twist lock. Also like the fit magnetic versus the regular magnetic closures. Then we have a question. When you sew the leather ones, do you need to use a different strength needle?
Like I said, I like the non-stick. The one I have found that works for me is the Schmetz non-stick. I think it's called Super Non-Stick needle. And it's for, or some people call it Teflon, but it doesn't say Teflon on the packaging. It says Super Non-Stick, I believe. Otherwise, I just normally use a purple needle from Janome.
And Bonnie asks, it's Cam Snaps, K-A-M. I've posted the link a couple times. I'll do it again. But she's got Compress. So compress.com, is that somebody? Okay,
I don't know what that
Cam
is.
is K-A-M. I'll post the link. Let me see if there are other questions here.
I wanted to go over the templates as well.
Heather said, yes, they were 10 millimeter.
Yes. I thought so, but I didn't want to be wrong, so I said I would refer back to that because I don't want to give out wrong information. I want to show the template set again and show you the parts and pieces that I did not use today according to the pattern pieces in here. That oval, obviously, is our oval. The flap is obviously the flap in the pattern. The bracket pieces, I'm not sure if you can see this right here. That is what these pieces are in your template set. Let me move this black one out of the way. There you go. That is this part of the pattern. They're labeled piece C according to the pattern and piece B according to the pattern. So those are those pieces. And then of course, in Martelli fashion, we have the fussy cut window to make sure that you get all your themed fabrics, with the feature character or whatever you're doing on there. So these are extra templates that I created to make the cutting easier, to make the zipper pockets and the card slot pockets. And oh, also the pattern, some of you who purchased your pattern a long time ago, it has a pink and black wallet on the front. This is the same thing. This is just an updated, this is just an updated version of the pattern. So depending on where you purchased your pattern and how long ago, it might look a little different, but all you need to know is the Necessary Clutch Wallet by Emmeline Bags, or Emmeline Bags. I haven't found out what the proper pronunciation of that is. So, that is that.
And her name is Janelle, by the way.
Yeah,
too.
oh, yeah. It's her company, Emmeline
Yeah.
Bags, or Emmeline Bags, but the creator of this pattern is Janelle.
Janelle McKay.
Who's a genius. I mean, she literally was able to make a pattern that stands the test of time. Obviously, 2013 is when that pattern first came out, so a lot of you bought your patterns then. So I hope this rejuvenates you and make you pull your patterns out and get the templates to help you out a little bit and start posting pictures of your wallets. And go on that NCW Addicts Facebook page and share on there, because all of us members on that page would love to see what you've created.
And I'm on her tutorials page right now, and under the popular posts, there's make your own vinyl leather look handbag straps. There's how to add a wrist strap or removable shoulder strap to the NCW. She's got lots of free patterns too, but definitely look at her paid for patterns, because the knowledge that she has in this field, for anybody that's new, it's a whole new world.
Right.
And you don't want to make mistakes. She's going to teach you the right way, make things a whole lot easier. But go look at her tutorials, because there's so much to this page.
Right. And in your kits, so in your kits we have the webbing in case you want to make a crossbody strap. I will dig that out of ours here, and we can, I don't know, are we going to be breaking or?
It's 11:21 right now, to give you a time frame. 11:21.
And we're okay, so we can go ahead and show this strap now. If you get the webbing over here, I've got my suitcase. Give me a second, you guys, and we'll get the webbing going. I literally forgot about making the strap. So in your kit, you got a lot of webbing in order to make 2 crossbody straps. So we're going to fold this in half and cut it. And that's going to be the length of our strap. Most straps, well, of course it depends on the person's height and how much girth they got. Because my strap needs to be a lot bigger than other people's straps, because it has to go around all my goodness. So this webbing, you can, I've seen lots of people burn the edges to keep it from fraying, or you can take a piece of fabric and fold around the edges. But I like to do mine with a binding. If I'm going to use the webbing, I will take a piece of binding strip and just sew this onto the edge. And we'll go and do that. And that'll be the easiest, fastest way to do a strap. Unless you just want to burn it and then you fold it up and then put your rivet in there, or after you put the hardware. But we will go and attach this binding strip at the sewing machine to this on either end, and we'll come back and show you how to put the hardware on that. Okay, so we'll go sew this at the machine. And let's see. And I'm going to just sew across here, kind of like we did the zipper part. I'm going to start off of my fabric, and then I'll ride right onto it. And give me a little leader here. So I'm going to do this like 1/8 of an inch and go across here. And stick the other end in. I'm going to trim this first so it's straight and no. These things fray pretty bad, so I didn't want to be using a lighter here on film, but I do see people burn the ends. And I know that it matters what kind of webbing you have, so you probably don't want to, you probably want to make sure in the safety of your home how to burn those edges. And I'm just going to finish that piece off just because I had it there, but we don't need that for this strap. So I'm going to cut this off evenly with this. And yes, I have raw edges. If you're worried about that, then you can use a different technique to do the ends This is just stopping that from fraying. That's all I'm trying to do here
And
right
Janet
now.
asked if you could use the serger to finish the edges.
Yes, absolutely. And if you match the webbing, you know, that would be all you would need to do. You could just serge the edge, we're going to go put the hardware in at the cutting table so you can see good. And you've got lobster claws that were in your kit, swivel lobster claws, clasp, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about my crab claws that I'm going to get to go eat. So we've got our lobster swivel clasp right here. All we're going to do is feed this through here. We're going to bend it. Oh, I didn't catch that side. Okay. We're just going to bend it like this and literally put a rivet right through that. And I only did this end just to, it gives it a little bit more of an accent to it. So we will make a hole in this. I'm gonna first get I put all those rivets up for whatever reason I did that for. I was just trying to be tidy.
And again, if you don't have a rivet press, you can do this just by sewing. You don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have to do rivets here.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just doing this a fast way because I'll be honest, I forgot about doing the strap for you guys. So right here, we're going to just punch this hole in here. I like the look of rivets. I think it makes things look more professional. Looks like you know what you're doing without doing a lot of hard work. Okay, I've got my hole pushed in there. And you can even put 2 rivets to make it look even better or whatever. It's all up to you. Customize this however you would like. So I've got this pushed in, right like that. I'm going to put it in my press and then push. It literally doesn't take much pressure at all. And that's a pretty good looking strap right there. And here we go with the other side. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to fold it. And I'm going to punch it. Put my post in there. Put my stopper on there. Now it looks the same on both sides. And literally, boom, and it's done. So there are your ends to your straps. So now we can make this a crossbody. Which one did I just make? This one? I've got so many wallets up here. So we can take this and put this hook right here on our D-ring inside here and hook the other side to this D-ring on this side. And now we've just made this a crossbody. And you can use the same technique to make you a wristlet. And how about that? There's your crossbody strap, wallet. Very lightweight, even though you do have that beefier interfacing in there, it's still very lightweight. You can't really even feel that you have it on. I actually, sometimes I will sew with the one Linda Olson made me because it's sewing fabric, and I'll put all my little paraphernalia in here, which is how I carried it here to Pensacola, Florida, as I put all my chalk and all kinds of stuff in there for sewing, my needles, etc. So there is your NCW totally finished, and that's it. Do we want to show just a couple more variations of the
Yeah, I would do a
wallet?
little bit of make and take. And just for all of you, we're pretty much wrapped up with the class. So we're not going to do an afternoon session. Definitely go back and watch the replays, because any questions that you have, I'm guessing you're going to find it in a replay. And hearing this again while you're working on this will help you get more comfortable with this. So definitely, go look at those. And if you haven't picked up the pattern, get the pattern. So we've got lots of great tutorials that I posted links for, so you can look for those too.
I will show you that this is the wallet that started it all.
Flip.
Oh, flip these around. Okay, sorry. This is the wallet that started it all. Linda Olson gifted this to me, and this is my sewing one. So this is all the sewing paraphernalia that I keep in here. Oh, and pins and what have you. I even have my wristlet strap. That's what I was going to mention. You can make a wristlet and you could just hook it to the one side and have a wristlet. So many options. And before I created this tab, of course, I made some without and with some vinyls and what have you. Here's a nice one with some faux leather or vinyl. I'm not even sure what the difference between calling something vinyl and calling something the faux leather. I think it's all about the same stuff. But there you have it. You could just, and this is a different kind of fabric I tried. This was like a canvas fabric that I did for the card slots, and I didn't interface anything in there, and so it's a little bit floppy. So if you want more structure, then you want to add some interfacing to it. So I really made all the mistakes and have a bunch of different variations of things with waterproof canvas, without waterproof canvas, and as you can see, this is one of those shiny sheets that that Valerie has for sale now. This one is a much beefier one because I tried doing the Peltex, and I used that stuff that I found in the remnant bin at Joann's, and so this made it really thick. So this is a beefy one, but you can try different mediums, different interfacings and stuff, and find, what kind of structure do you want in your wallets. Some people don't interface really at all, and then it's a floppy, it ends up being a smaller one because of not having all that interfacing in there. Remember that this fabric is for sale right now. This kit with the gnomes in it and 6 of the accent fabrics.
We've got 16 of those bundles left. I'll post a link for it.
Okay. And let's see what other mistake ones I could show. Oh yeah, here's another. This is the second wallet I made, which is better than the first, but I used hardware that happened to come right out. So another mistake on the hardware. If you see this is kind of wrinkly right here, this I used with the Peltex, and I ironed the Peltex, and this is what happened. So I don't suggest that. I really do like the Decaville inside the flaps. And let's see. Lisa, did I miss you handing something over here or no? I seen you get up, but I didn't see what did you need something?
Yes, I just out all the vinyls are all bagged up over there. If you want to pull some out.
Oh.
Some of the bagged up vinyls.
Oh, okay. You guys remember this from our Chalupa tutorial? I had some left over, so I threw it into a wallet. And that's that. So as you can see, you can use lots of different combinations, different faux leathers, and maybe this one is even considered a real leather. I don't know. But
I think that's faux.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's
You know, when
faux.
I'm buying remnants, it doesn't really say. But that is what's so good about these sheets that Valerie is selling now, because these are big enough to do your flaps. I'll just grab one of these.
And I just posted a link to our vinyl, the 5 sheets.
Okay, good.
So you'll see that too.
So, you know, they're mystery. You don't know what you're going to get. No two are alike. But, of course, I gravitated towards this because I've seen a couple shiny ones in there. But it's just fun to use different things and find what you like. And hopefully this got you started. And we, you know, want to see what you're doing. Maybe you found a tip or trick that will help things go faster or easier or smoother, or you have some advice.
Yeah, we got a great comment from Diane. If you use the Peltex, get the kind that's not fusible.
Fusible,
Most
right.
of the time we like fusible, but in a project like this, definitely not.
Yeah.
And Bonnie said she's using an old Dritz plier tool to press the rivets. It's hard, but it works. You know,
Right.
if you're just doing a couple, okay. But
Yeah.
if you're doing a bunch and this becomes a side business or a business,
Right.
then invest in the tools.
Right.
Eva wants to know, if you use cork for the flap, does it show finger stains or dirt?
I actually just bought some cork. That is on my list of to-do NCWs. I wanted to point out that you could also use this kind of like, it's almost like upholstery fabric. We had some here, and I made Marcia a wallet. This is Marcia's wallet. Don't pay attention to the color of this tab. I was in a hurry, and this is bugging me, but everyone says it's fun. So, and here's the inside of that with the card slots and the interior oval. And so this, a lot of times you can get a remnant from upholstery stores. You know, they have things that are the designers that show these things, and then they give away their samples. So you might even be able to hook up with a designer that has these just laying around, these upholstery type fabrics. So you can use literally anything.
Yeah.
Just try a bunch of different combinations like I did, and then you'll end up with a ton of wallets
As gifts.
as
or for
gifts
sale.
or to sell or
One of my favorite things is to hit yard sales, Goodwill, thrift stores,
Yes.
clothing. So you look for clothing.
oh, so
all of
clothing,
your
jeans works well too, and you don't have to interface denim. So my girlfriend Tater that I was teaching, she actually made one with denim, and it is gorgeous. So, and you don't have to interface the denim. So you can use the waterproof canvas in place of some of your interior ovals and not have to interface that part either. So you can do different combinations that saves you if you don't have interfacing or if you want to just try without.
Yeah. And one
So-
other question that was asked about Houston, would we have these at Houston? If you are planning to go to Houston, give us some hearts and thumbs up if you're going to go to Houston. Valerie is not making any promises because we are so
Inundated.
inundated with trying to get ready for that. So if you're at Houston and you come by the first day to see if we have any available. But I'd buy it on the website. It's on sale.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. Anything else? We're getting hearts there for Houston. Any other questions that you all have? Because we're going to wrap up for this free class.
Yay. I'm so glad you guys decided to spend your time with us. And if you need help, push that rewind button. And you can also email at twins@martellinotions.com. If I can help you in any way, I will do so. And learn at martellinotions.com for Lisa and Linda with any questions for them. Again, we want to thank Janelle from Emmeline Bags, because without her, starting this madness that she's created, I wouldn't have all these beautiful wallets to give away and sell.
And again, go back and share this post. Once we finish here, you can still share this, so let your other friends know, because this is such a great project to do.
Yes.
All right.
We're
Thanks,
gonna wrap it
guys.
up?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. I hope to see you in our next little venture, and give lots of feedback, and let Valerie know you still want more free classes. So.